My beautiful wife, Mary Ann's actually going to start this off. And I told her earlier, I said, I don't care what anybody says, as long as at the end I get 15 minutes for rebuttal.
Oh! That's mine.
I have a lot to say. I'm dropping everything. Larry didn't know, but when we sent out the save the date cards, I asked everybody to try to say something nice or funny about Larry, and if you didn't want to say it, you could write it out. We are putting together a scrapbook.
It's empty right now.
And I have some additions that I just got that haven't got put into the scrapbook yet. But I thought I would start off. I have my opening line to thank Andrea for giving me this opening line. And knowing how much Larry loves Oprah, I thought this was very, very Oprah says that a woman's bliss begins in her 40s. Well, that's true for me because that's when I met Larry. And our first date was very romantic. He took me to the top of the towers. Some of you might remember it was a very nice restaurant in North St. Louis. And it was the home of the spinning salad where they made the salad by your table. And Johnny Hernandez Trio was playing in the background. And it was very elegant and I was very impressed. And then he said, why don't we go down to this bar that I know of some friends of mine are playing at? And I think Rich and John might have been in this bar. Anyway, we went down in Baden on North Broadway. And I have to read to you what was on the outside of the door. It said, no switchblades, motorcycle chains, emblems, or weapons of any kind are allowed inside. So we go into this bar, and of course, the first thing, the wonderful band members say, hey Larry, you want to sit in? So Larry leaves me sitting at the bar, surrounded by drunks. He goes up and he's playing the drums, and they're knocking my coat on the floor, and I'm sitting there thinking, what did I get myself into? So my first date with Larry kind of explains my life. Sublime to the ridiculous. And I've really enjoyed my life. So thank you. I have one more that Uncle Bill gave me. This is one that Barb put together. My cousin Barb couldn't make it today, but she gave this note. And I haven't read this yet, so we'll read it together. Larry, Larry, never contrary, always loving and caring to Mary. Traveling over the road to put food on the table, playing the drums whenever you were able. You put in your time for the company store. They worked you and still wanted more. Now it's your turn to sit back and chill. Prop up your feet, do what you will. The best of times we wish for you, good health and much joy, we pray for you. Best wishes on your retirement. Now I'm going to turn the floor over to the left table because they have known you longer and better than anybody.
Introduce yourself.
Okay. I'm Alice, Larry's sister, 4 years older than he is. This afternoon, I'd like to thank God for the blessing of my brother, Larry.
Wait, she's laughing when she said that.
As most of you know, Larry is 4 years younger than I, so there were times when I had to be the big sister. When we were both in grade school, the presentation, I was in 8th grade and Larry was in 4th, and a nun pulled him out of line for whistling.
Oh.
Now, Larry certainly got into his share of troubles in grade school, but I knew he didn't do this because I happened to see the kid who did. So Dad had always told us to stand up for each other. So I went up to Sister St. Lucy and said, Larry didn't whistle. She didn't believe me, of course, but I said I could get the boy who did. She said, do it. So at that time, all the girls played in one playground and all the boys played in another across the street. And no one ever crossed the Great Divide to enter the But I was on a mission. I walked across the street, found the culprit, and told him Sister wanted to see him about whistling in line. I figured if he thought she already knew he was guilty, he would not deny it. When I returned with the culprit in tow, he readily admitted his offense. Sister rather reluctantly thanked me and even apologized to Larry. Wow, that was a first. In high school, Larry took a job at Chuck-a-Burger as a car hop. A job he hated, I know, just so he could get enough money to buy a set of drums. Unfortunately, this was the beginning of many days and nights of listening to our own basement rock. He practiced to records or played with Dave Hillstead and Charlie Edwards, and it used to drive us crazy sometimes. But when it got too loud or went on too long, we would flip the light switch on and off as a signal to stop, at least for a while. On the weekends, we piled Larry's drums into the trunk and back seat of my '54 Plymouth, and I drove him to dances or parties to play. Later, the whole family cheered when he performed the drum solo from Caravan, which was requested at every family wedding. When Larry entered the Marine Corps right after high school, I remember how worried I was. Even Dad didn't want him to go. This was during the Vietnam War, and it was a dangerous time for anyone to be in the service. But after 3 years, he returned home, physically fit, more mature, confident, and focused on goals of a good job, marriage, and music. Larry worked hard at every job he had, even when he rode the garbage trucks for a while at BFI. As a salesman for GAF, Anchor Lock, Central States, or Precision Rebuilders, he could talk to anyone, but he also knew how to listen. And he treated everyone with respect. As they say in the sales business, he also knew the territory, even when it stretched over thousands of miles in several states. But this afternoon, I'm most thankful for Larry's devotion to family, ours and his own. I remember how excited Mom was when Larry and I arranged for she and Dad to fly to Las Vegas and Cheyenne, Wyoming to visit Dad. Often Larry was available to take Mom to the doctor, and he was there to help in Dad's final illness. And it was Larry who had to break the terrible news of my brother Jordy's death to Mom and Larry, for all your help with cars, home building projects, family emergencies and celebrations, and just being a great brother and a terrific God. I hope you have a wonderful and happy retirement with Mary Ann and the family. God bless.
We're all crying now.
Why? Jordan got everybody being nice.
All right. He's pulling up his pants. He's ready to start.
Now, you expect me to talk?
How do I follow up? How do I beat them?
Well, what do I say to my older brother? I can't top this. All I can say is, you've always been there for me, and you were the one that kept me from going into the Marine Corps. And God he convinced me to go in the Navy instead, so I got a technical education and managed to land a decent job when I got out. So I owe you. I know. Okay? You're a good man and a great brother. And I'll say no more. Thank you.
All right.
Time today.
Deadly duo. I better see the words. It's not as long as Alice's.
This is all right.
Okay. And we're old, so we couldn't memorize this. So you'd have to allow the reading. We wanted to say a few words about Larry. But Larry has such a great sense of humor and is a great drummer. We decided to tell him a few jokes about drummers. He probably has heard them, but maybe you have not.
What is the biggest lie told to a drummer? Hold on, I'll help you with your gear.
What did the drummer say to the band leader? Do you want me to play too fast or too slow?
Why are drummers always losing their watches? Everyone knows they have trouble keeping time.
Heard somebody say that one. Ancient proverb. If thine enemy wrongs thee, by each of their children a drum.
Overhead announcement. Will the musicians please come to the stage? Oh, and the drummer too.
How is a drum solo like a sneeze? You can tell it's coming, but you cannot do anything about
St. Peter was checking IDs at the pearly gates. He asked the first person, "What did you do on earth?" They replied, "I was a doctor." St. Peter said, "Okay, go right through those two shiny gates to the left." The second person, "What did you do on earth?" The person replied, "I was a school teacher." St. Peter said, "Okay, through those gates and then to the left." Next, "What did you do on earth?" "I was a drummer." St. Peter said, "All right, go around to the back door to the freight elevator and through the kitchen."
We've been there before.
A drummer was tired of being ridiculed by his peers. He decides to learn how to play some real instruments. He goes to the music store, walks in, approaches the store clerk and says, "I'll take that red trumpet over there and that accordion." The store clerk looks at him a bit funny and replies, "Oh, you can have the fire extinguisher, but the radiator's got to stay." Seriously. Larry is the greatest brother, and we feel our best friend. We love you.